All right. It started. It's live now.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
And let me go to my page and share it. Then I'll be ready. Okay, here we go. How y'all doing? Um, I give them about a minute to get in. I don't see nobody yet.
Okay.
But it's the self love journey with that girl Shei Atkins. Um, Giving people time. I'm gonna get started in 1 minute. We just gonna go and they can come back and watch it.
Watch it later. Indeed.
Come back and watch it later. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in to the self love journey with the girl Shei Atkins. Self love is my passion. It's what God has given me. It's my assignment in this season of my life to help people know that God loves them, to help people know that they matter, that you are enough. You know, we've been through so many different things. We all come from different backgrounds, but at some point in our walk, in our journey, we have to learn how to love ourselves. Our relationship with ourselves is going to be one of the most important relationships that we have, including our relationship with God, because how we see ourselves determines our choices. How we see ourselves determines our decisions, who we choose to be with, what jobs we work at, what school we go to, how we wear our hair, what we wear, everything stems from how we see ourselves. So the self love journey is just all about talking to people from different walks of life and how they got to the point in their life where they decided, you know what, I deserve better than this. I matter. How to get through those storms in life. And it stems from how you see yourself. So anyway, this is Ialana Tippins that I met through a friend, and she's ready to share her story. You know, it takes a lot of courage to get on here and share your story, to be vulnerable in front of people and let them know. But like I was telling my friend earlier that I was talking to, it might be tea to you, but it's my testimony. It might be some juice, but this is where God brought me from. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. We're gonna get started into talking about Ialana's story and the defining moment in her life that got her to where she is today. So come on, let's talk about it. Tell us about you.
Okay. So, early on in life, my family come from a church home, so we was raised in the church, but a lot of religion took place in my family. That's how I feel. That it was just more so of what the church folk might think, and the name being put out there. So it was, don't act like this or act according, or you're gonna embarrass the family name type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I can remember back 12, 13, and I wasn't perfect, y'all. I thought I was grown, smoking weed, all
Mm-hmm.
that. I was into that. So I think the first time, I mean, just a little bit of my background, you know, um, my dad was on drugs,
Mm.
crack cocaine. My mom did the best that she could as far as, raising us, but my mom had at that time 4 girls by herself,
Mm.
and it was hardship. So early on, called myself grown, thinking I got it figured out. I'm smoking weed, I'm hanging out, I'm doing whatever Lena wanted to do. And I just remember the first time ever feeling hurt by my mom, like betrayed by my mom, is that my sister and my stepfather at the time, they got into it. And I never understood it because, until you experience God for yourself, you just don't
Mm-hmm.
understand something that people say. She was like, the Bible says husband, wife, and then children. So in my mind, oh, you choosing a man over your kids? You don't love us. You don't. So I went on the deep end. I mean, and it's not. Now I take accountability for my actions now, but at that point, it was blame everybody around me for anything that I had going on, because that's just what it was. It was easier to do that than to accept accountability and look in the mirror. Um,
But you
so
said, okay, you saying at 12 and 13, you felt like your mother was choosing a man over you, and you kind of went on the deep end,
absolutely,
basically.
absolutely. So by 14, I was popping pills, handlebars, and you know stuff like that, and smoking weed, and it wasn't. I got pregnant at the age of 15.
Mm.
Um, because of course, looking for my dad wasn't around, due to his addiction, and even when he got out of his addiction, it was just like, to me, all it was about was my stepmom and my stepsisters and stuff like that. So I was just, like, I don't got nobody. So if this dude over here telling me I'm beautiful and he loved me and he this and that, that's the only person in the world that loved me. Okay,
Yeah,
so went there, got pregnant at 15. Of course, the family, they shamed of me. They, what the church folk gonna say, what people gonna
yeah.
say about you and stuff like that. So, I
Mm-hmm.
had to hear the you won't amount to anything, and the whispers and the snickers when you come
Mm-hmm.
around and stuff like that, the embarrassment.
Mm.
So when I had my baby, I didn't know nothing about raising no child. So I left my baby with any and everybody that are watching, and could have been putting my baby in harm's way. I can stand on my truth and live in my truth now. It hurts. It still hurts that I have to say that out of my mouth, but that was me. That's who I was. I was that. That's my ugly truth.
Now,
That
were you still living at home at this time when you
no,
had the baby?
no, ma'am. I was put out. My mom said, "You want to be grown? Go be grown." Outside my house. So by the age of 14, I was put out, and I was a rebel. So by right, she was probably right by putting me out. But at that time, I'm with this guy. You can't tell me nothing. I'm thinking I'm grown and I'm out there. And then once I had my
Mm-hmm.
baby, you would think that I wanted to change for the better, but it really got worse, to be honest with you. Anybody
Mm.
that was willing to watch my baby, and I don't, I'm not knowing if I'm leaving my baby with somebody that's sick in the head, that'll hurt my baby, pedophile. None of that. I will leave my child with whoever will watch him so that I can go out drugging, clubbing, and turning up. I was all about to turn up. I was the fighter. You said something to me. I made sure that my name was recognized in the streets. I want to fight. I want to act a fool. And it wasn't until the first eye opener I had, which made me leave drugs alone, is that when I want to say I was 16. I was
Mm-hmm.
16 years old and I almost overdosed.
Mm.
And I literally slept for like 2 days and they thought I was dead and went and got my mom. And I remember her coming down there to get me. They took me to the hospital and she was just going off on me. And again, it's always somebody else's fault. I'm not gonna take
Yeah,
accountability. I'm not gonna take responsibilities for my actions. Whatever. It was, well, if you wouldn't have hurt my heart like that, I wouldn't have had to go that route. I wouldn't, So it's just that was my first eye opener. And after that, I was just like, I don't want to do no more drugs. I can't do this. Like, I don't want to die. This is
yeah.
serious because according to the doctor, I had enough in me to knock out a horse.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's that was an eye opener. And then at the age of 17, I was yet again pregnant again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had my baby. So at this time, I'm a mother of two.
Mm.
And my sister, I remember my sister coming to me and she talked to me so bad. Oh, she hurt my heart, but I needed that. I needed
Mm.
that because she was like, I'm sick of you. You being trifling. You sorry. Yeah, she was going on the deep end on me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just crying like, you don't know. You don't
Yeah,
understand. Because I wasn't
yeah,
ready to accept accountability. So,
yeah,
with that being said, she was like, no, after today, you going to do what you got to do. I'm not going to raise your kids. You going to do what you got to do and take care of these kids.
yeah.
So I put my big girl drawers on and I did stuff like, go enroll in parenting class. And I was talking to other mothers and like, oh, well, what you doing? Getting advice from them because, to me, even if the guidance wasn't there, I wasn't acceptance of it. I didn't
Mm.
accept it. I didn't have, that guide, and somebody that took their time, take me in the kitchen, show me how to cook, show me how to do this. So everything I learned is basically learned from other people, and I'm a fast learner though. So,
Yeah.
that's something that happened in 2003. My world changed. My daughter passed away. Now, keep in mind, I was raised in church, so I know what thus saith the Lord. I know you train up a child in the way they should go, and they should never flee from it, and they always come back to it. But at that
Yeah.
time, when my daughter passed, I was like, "There's child molesters, there's murderers, there's so many people that you could have took, but you took my child." So in my
Yeah.
mind, what God, and I can say that truth or not, and don't jump on me, my holier than thou friends. Don't jump on me because I'm living in my truth. This is how I felt. I was angry with God. I questioned him because it's like, if you love me and you want the great things from me, why would you put me through so much? Why would you take my daughter? She was innocent. She didn't have,
Yeah.
she didn't sin against anybody. She, even though we were born into sin, and it was just like, I was angry with him. And I
Yeah.
remember my Aunt Eunice, Lord rest her soul, she made me go to church with her and my cousins. And I sat back there with my lips poked out. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, what God is going to do. He going to bless your storehouse. He going to do. I'm sitting back there the whole time like, all right,
Yeah. You weren't
with big
feeling it?
attitude. Big
Yeah.
attitude. Couldn't tell me nothing. And towards the end of the sermon, this lady knew nothing about me. Didn't know my story, didn't know where I came from, didn't nothing. And I'm sitting in the back because I'm about ready to go. I'm looking at my watch like, okay, we've been here an hour and a half. Too. Okay, is it time to go yet? So she called me. She was like, "Come here, baby." And I'm like, looking like everybody else, like, who's she talking to?
Yeah.
The old lady sitting next to me, she said, "Baby, she talking to you." I said, she was like, "Yeah, come here." So when I made it there, she was just ministering to me, letting me know, like, "Baby, it's a dark cloud over you." And once
Wow.
I reached her, she was like, "But the Holy Spirit told me what he took from you, he gonna give it back." This lady touched me in my stomach. And I think for me, that was the
Yeah.
first time I truly experienced God because I couldn't control it. I'm
Yeah.
not a type of person. I don't like really crying in front of people because I feel like, people might think you're weak and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop shaking. And I just was like, I was losing it. And I just
Yeah.
like remember just crying and folding over, and she began to minister to me and pray over me and stuff like that. And then even after the sermon, once my auntie told her, she was like, "Baby, I had no idea." She said, "But that's the way God moves." She said, "It's not gonna be overnight, but you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be
Yeah.
all right, and you're going to be a blessing to somebody. You just hold on." So I
Yeah.
said, "Okay." And I never forget, y'all, 7 years and 3 days later, I had another daughter. I'm
Yeah.
a mother of five, but I had another daughter, and I only have boys and one daughter now. So it's
Yeah.
just like, some people might say, "Oh, that ain't that's God.
Yeah.
That's His promise for me. That's His promise for
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
So after that, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to try to be a holy roller and nothing else like that, but I can, tell people my story and tell them like, "Hey, I came from this. I literally came from, even though I can't lie and say, oh, I was out there prostituting. I never did any of that. But an addiction is an addiction.
Yeah.
And once you in that addiction, it's very hard to shake. So at some point, you have to wake up and say, look, enough is enough. I can't do that. So for
Yeah.
me, like after all that, even after that church, of course it didn't happen overnight. It took me years to get to this journey to say, look, I'm tired. I'm ready to love on me, and because even up to not even that long ago, and I'm still dealing with it to this day to try to get over that hump. It's like I get with a man, and I put my all into this person, giving him wife material when I'm just a girlfriend type of stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and end up hurting in the end. The same
Yeah.
thing. And it's like I really have to dig deep within. Like I went through things, and I had to start saying, look, it's time to address the situation. You need to get your mental together. You need to
Yeah.
love on you a little more. And as I
Come on.
started talking and getting with my counselor and stuff like that, it's just like a lot of things. And I had to realize this all came from lack of self-love.
Yeah.
It honestly did. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. Oh, I love me. I love me.
Yeah.
Okay. We all say that.
Yeah.
Everybody says how much they love self. But guess
Yeah.
what? if you love yourself the way that you claim you love, it's a lot of things that you would not tolerate, a lot of things that you would not allow yourself to go through. And
That's
that's
right.
the journey that I'm on. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to, push forward. And even though I slip and fall sometimes and then beat myself up about it later and be like, you know what? And you knew better.
Yeah.
But that's all a part of the process. And,
Yeah.
as soon as you confront that
That's
demon
right.
that's staring back at you in that mirror, the faster
Yeah.
you get on that healing journey. And that's, pretty much my story.
You telling the truth. And that's why I call this the self-love journey, because the self-love journey begins once you recognize that you deserve better. Once you say, you know what, I'm gonna have a healthy relationship with myself now. That's
Awesome.
when the journey begins. And you gotta learn what and what not to do. You gotta learn how to cut off toxic things and toxic people. You gotta learn how to love you. So you're gonna make some mistakes along the way, because now you're learning how to feed yourself the right things so that you can
Right.
make the right decisions for your life. So you telling the truth, it is a process and it is a journey.
Yeah.
But I'm
Just
proud of you.
thank you. Thank you.
I
I'm
am.
proud of me too. And I know I got a long way to go. I really do. But I'm ready. I'm so ready.
So what did you have to do as far as just once you recognize, you know what, I'm so loving on me more? What's some things that you started doing to love on you?
Well, I started getting deeper into my ministry. My church family is phenomenal. And just staying around positive people. I have learned to start loving people from over here. Meaning, if I feel like you're disturbing my peace or you're taking to a place that's gonna lead me back down that journey, I know how to stay away from you. Now it's nothing, no beef or me trying to be funny with you. It's, hey, if I see you, hey, how you doing? But I keep it
Yeah.
pushing because one thing about me, I'm a person that attaches myself. That's
Oh
that's
yeah.
one of my flaws, and
Oh
it's a
yeah.
blessing and a curse. To a
Yeah.
point where I feel like if my friend going through, I gotta be there, I gotta do this, and I'm going through, I'm putting myself through that same thing. But then I'm over here fighting my own demons that I ain't
Yeah.
really strong enough to fight. It's like who
Yeah.
helping me fight these? So I
Wow.
have to learn how to you know distance myself from people that's always on a negative trip. That's
Yeah.
always on you know stuff that I'm not trying to be on, or the negative vibes. I can't because I
Yeah.
know it's easy for me to get sucked back into that. So that's some of the things, some of the changes that I made just watching the company that I keep. I speak affirmations every day over my life.
Come on.
Um, just to make sure that I know, like, I don't never question yourself. You're enough. You're more than enough.
Come on
Love
now.
on you. Like, your journey is just starting, but you're gonna look
Yeah.
back a couple of years from now and be like, girl, you done came a long way. So I'm ready for that. I
But
absolutely am.
let me ask you this, because you were saying that your father was on drugs
Yes,
growing
you
up.
will.
You just basically feel like you didn't have the parental support, which probably led you to this negative path that you went
Yes.
down. So,
Self-destruct.
how is your relationship with them now?
Oh, y'all, my daddy is my man. I cut you behind my daddy. That's my guy. He is sober. He is a true man of God. He always has a word for me.
Come
Always,
on.
telling, and then he always talks to me about forgiveness. He
Wow.
always talks to me about forgiveness, and that's one thing I had to start with myself because I honestly, like I said, I've always blamed other people for my shortcomings. Anything I did wrong, it was quick for me to, oh no, Shay. If Shay wouldn't have said that to me, I wouldn't have reacted like that. It was
Yeah.
never like, you know what? I had a choice. I had a
Yeah.
choice to say what I said, or say what I didn't say, or something like that. So I had to start by forgiving myself. And now, like with me and my dad, I can call and talk to that man about anything, and he always got a word for me. I always have something positive to say. I always have affirmations, and it's a beautiful thing. And my mom as well. My mom as well, like, true woman of God, calls and prays over me. She'll feel something going on and she'll call me and be like, hey lady, what's going on? And I'm like,
Wow.
mama, ain't nothing going on. She'll be like, girl, what's wrong with you?
That's
And next
good.
thing you know, I'm snotting and crying, telling my mama, mama, I'm stressed out. I can't. It's
Oh,
as if she feel it, and I thank God for that because man, growth and forgiveness, it
yeah.
it it has done some amazing things in my life. I'm not even gonna lie, because I held on to them grudges.
I
I
know,
did.
and you have to forgive them, right?
I and
Able to have
myself.
this
I had to
relationship.
forgive them, but I had to start with self though. I had to start with
Yeah,
self because a lot of stuff that I allowed and put myself in a lot of situations. And it was
yeah.
easy for me to blame other people than to look in the mirror and say, nah, that's you. That's the
Wow.
hardest thing to
It's
do
hard to
for a
do that.
parent. It's
It's
hard.
hard to do
It
that.
is hard to look in the mirror and say, that's you. This
Yeah.
is your actions. That's your character. This is who you are. This is your ugly truth. It's hard
Wow.
because I can look at somebody right now and say, you know what?
I can't hear you anymore.
It's harder.
Okay, there
Can
you
you hear
go.
me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what happened just then. But
So you say you can look at somebody and
I can look at somebody and tell you 10 things what's wrong with them. But when you have to say, well, what's wrong with you? What's your demons? What are you hiding? What are your skeletons? You be like, oh, I nothing. I just no. It's a little harder to do that. It's hard to do that. So once I confronted my demons and forgave me, it was easy for me to forgive my parents because I've always wanted that closeness with them. I've always wanted that bond, and now I have that, and I'm very very grateful for that.
wow. So did that help like as far as with your healing?
It does.
The relationship being restored?
It
They help
does.
you?
It does because I noticed when I wasn't at a good space with my parents, um, I was toxic, very toxic, and I was being toxic
Wow.
towards children, and I noticed I was repeating things that hurt me in the past with my children. So I even had to have a sit down with them and apologize to them. Sometimes that's what we need. We need to apologize to our children because us growing up, stay in a child's place. You was all
Wow.
what the adults say is always right, and you just gonna deal with it. And
Yeah.
sometimes it takes just but a second to listen to the child and apologize to them. So it really helped on my journey as far as opening my eyes to see how my hurt was running down on my kids. I was bleeding on my kids, and they didn't even cut me. So yeah, it really played a very very big part in my
Wow.
healing.
So where are you in your journey now? Your self love journey, and is it hard for you?
It is. It is because it's so easy to go back to your old ways, and it's so easy for you to because that's your familiar. That's your
Yeah.
familiar. It's history repeating itself, and at some point you got to keep. For me, I have to constantly remind myself, you deserve better. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get sunk back into that hole. Don't do it because it's very easy for you to run back to what you're familiar with. It's easy for
Yeah.
you to run back to, you know, if something is toxic, and that's something I'm working on now too, and I
Yeah.
have to truth and tell it like it is.
Yeah.
I will hold on to toxic situations because I hold on to the perception that I first had of that situation or that person,
Oh yeah.
and
I
so
know
if,
what
if
you're talking about.
I, that feeling back or that this and that,
Yeah.
just like I'm training myself now and really trying to stand on stop going back to toxic situations, allowing yourself to get back into toxic situations
Yeah.
or around toxic people because you know you're not strong enough to weed that out. If you're on a self
Yeah.
journey, you have to stay away from that. Period.
Yeah. You're
There's
right.
no with it, a socializing, and then none of that. You have to cut it off.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm struggling with. That's what I've been struggling with. But I've been doing pretty good, so I'm proud of
That's
me.
good.
But
That's good.
that is
And I think
something.
self awareness is such a powerful thing. It took me having a broken marriage
Mhm.
and cutting up out here in these streets to look back on it and recognize that I was codependent. I
Yeah,
developed unhealthy attachments because I didn't love myself, and I felt validated by these attachments. I felt validated by being a wife, validated by this good looking, thing, choosing me. I feel validated
yeah,
by that. And so outside of that, I would literally go into withdrawals if I lost the person when I wasn't ready to lose them, or they walk away from me. I would literally go into withdrawals of have those feelings of abandonment and rejection that I had to heal within me, because I felt like, who am I? Who am I without being a wife? Who am I without being an artist? Who am I? And you got to know who you are without what you feel like you so attached to. You
Right.
are you are valuable in and of yourself, but until you see it, you're gonna keep having those codependency issues that you need to heal. You got to build yourself up by yourself to know that I am enough.
Yeah.
Without them, I'm still enough. Without them, I still matter. Without them, I am who God says I am. I am significant. I am valuable. And you got to know that. And you got to
Yeah.
heal that part of you that feel like you ain't nothing
Yeah.
without her or him.
That's
But
that's
it's
ex-
so important.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Like I said, my one is fresh because that same thing. It wasn't so much as codependency. It was just more so of, I don't know. Like I had something to prove. Like I'm gonna hold on to this, and we were so good, and so this and so that. But then you ignored all the red flags. Though. So what's up?
Yeah.
What's really, like what's wrong with you? To where you didn't have these red flags. You didn't have them all throughout the relationship, the situationship, or whatever.
Mm.
So what's the problem? So it's just that I would justify another person's shortcoming, and
Wow.
it for me, I'm ready. I'm just ready.
That's
When I
good.
whole journey, and I know it's not gonna be easy, and I know I may fall. I know I may, you know, mess up from time to time, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna stop me from getting where I need to get.
Yeah. The important thing about falling down is getting up. Don't stay there.
Indeed.
And you might have a season. I had a season where I stayed there and I laid there like a pig in the mud, and I wallowed in my mess. I wallowed in my misery until I got the strength and I got a different way of seeing my situation to get up. You can get up, rise up, get up. It ain't over. It ain't over for you. Get up and start feeding yourself, feeding your faith, feed your spirit, feed your mind. And like you say, remove that toxicity from your life, because you'll never be able to walk that straight path with these toxic things and people pulling you
Indeed.
down, pulling you back, making you feel like you're not enough.
Right.
So, yeah, that's good. So, you pushing on in your self love journey and you loving you. And you done came from losing your daughter to being mad at God to uh, living from shelter to shelter, going
Yeah.
down the dark road, having being a teenage mother
Yes,
in
ma'am.
toxic relationships, and here you are today, drug free and
Yes, ma'am.
pushing through one day at a time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm ready. I'm just,
And I
it's
thank you
just.
for sharing your story. Is it anything else you would want to say to anybody that's watching, that's going through, maybe what you went through?
I mean, yeah, it's because a lot of people, like for me, it's not hard for me to tell my story now. I'm really at a space in my life that I've been through too much, and I'm too blessed to hide who I used to be. A lot of people that I know was there when I was out there and on drugs and crazy and doing what I wanted to do and just reckless. So my journey is always because for me, I felt helpless. I felt like I was at a space where I'm so far gone, ain't no bouncing back for me. Ain't no, I got all these kids and I'm just, I ain't got nothing really going. I'm just struggling. I'm this and I'm that. And I stand today to just say, baby, God is a miracle worker. And I can share this testimony right here. I started a transportation company back in 2013. I didn't do anything with my company because I was my biggest enemy. I was my
Mm,
biggest naysayer, hater. You know how everybody say, "Oh, she a hater." They hate no. I was my biggest hater.
wow.
Everything, all the ideas I came up with, I would knock myself down. But it ain't gonna work because ain't nobody gonna do this. Or I was waiting for that validation from people, or waiting for somebody to encourage me or push me to do. And it's like Literally. The- It was just like, what? Why are you sleeping on yourself? Like, I would understand other people hating on you, you pushing forward. It's hard. You your biggest hater. Sometimes
Wow.
it's us that stand in the way of us.
That's
I'm telling
right.
my my well, I'm gonna say my sister. She's not my blood sister, but she was working at the company. She was like, sister, I got, let's you say you want to do your transportation. You say you're not gonna sleep on yourself no more. I work at this company, you can transport people. This lady had me clients within 3 hours of her posting me. And it was literally like my transportation company is booming just by word of
Wow.
mouth. I got a waiting list. Now I got to get more vehicles or try to come up with how I'm gonna do this, but I know he gonna make a way. Now I
Wow.
have cleaning service as well, and that was by accident. that
Yeah.
was I never intended on starting a cleaning service, but started with one home, cleaning one home, and it travels
Wow.
where. And now I'm booked to November, and so
Come on now.
and I work a full-time job. Let's say that I have an
Wow.
18 just graduated. He have his own place now. Doing good for himself. He's about to go off to college, and all my kids are doing well. So everything that the enemy said that wasn't gonna happen, I wasn't gonna make anything of myself. My kids wasn't
Yeah.
gonna make anything and stuff like that. Listen, the devil is a lie. We sending that right back to hell where it came from because I
Come
stand.
on now.
I'm not balling. Don't get me wrong. I'm not balling and I'm not out that water yet. But he's making a way to a point where I don't have to beg or borrow from nobody.
Wow. That's
I
beautiful.
don't do that. So wherever you are in life, the only message that I really have, wherever you are in life, don't matter. I don't care if you think that you're so low to a point where ain't no getting up from this. Ain't no, you can get up from anywhere.
That's
You can get.
right.
You're talking to somebody that had an addiction to pills. I've tried powder before. I've smoked weed before. I was there.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I didn't care about self. I didn't care about. I feel like if I wasn't stealing and I here selling my body to get the drugs, should nobody have nothing to say. But I was self-destructing,
Yeah.
self-destructing
Me
to a
too.
place where I'm homeless, sleeping on people couches. I'm staying in Covenant House at the shelter. I'm out there, but I'm still
Yeah.
drugging. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're talking to a person that has literally been there at my lowest, and I really felt like, baby, God forgot about me. He didn't forgot
Oh.
because I was mad at him back in 2003, so he playing get back with me. I'm
Yeah.
serious. I
Yeah.
played in my head, and a lot of people, that know the word, oh, you should never say that about God, man. This is my truth. This is who
Oh
I
yeah.
am. Trust me, God is the head of my life, and it's called a personal relationship. And me and Him got a
Yeah.
good, you
Yeah.
know. Him. I talk to him daily. I'm in my word. I stand on his word. But
Come
it
on.
took a while to get to that point because I
Yeah.
wasn't always a person. I
Yeah.
was always that I'm blaming somebody for my shortcomings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm on a journey to where I have to look at self, reflect on self, and love on self. And I just want to encourage whoever, and y'all can get up from any situation,
Yeah.
anything, but you have to have the want to. You have
Yeah.
to, because I was stuck in that place so long. You want to know why? Because that pity party got. That's
Say that
just
one more time.
that pity party.
Yeah.
It got to get your attention. Yeah.
Oh.
When you throw the pity party and wallow in your sadness and I'm just
Yeah.
good. Oh yeah, get your attention. You get the
Yeah.
poor me story. You
Yeah.
got to put the poor me story out there to get that attention. That ain't worth that. You got to
Yeah.
really be able to love on self and say, you know what, I deserve better. And it
That's
starts with
right.
you. You got to make up in your mind and mean it.
That's right.
So that's pretty much all
That's a
I have
word
for
right
you.
there. That's a
That
word.
is.
So if you're on your self love journey and you're watching this, it starts with you looking at you and saying, you know what? I got to do better. And I can have better. I got to get up from this. I can rise up from this. Life ain't over. And forgive yourself for all your mistakes and get up and keep
Yep.
going. This is the last, baby. Okay. But yeah, keep on going and keep on pushing. And I want to thank you for sharing your story because
Thank
that
you. Thank
blessed
you
me.
for having me.
So I know it blessed somebody that's listening. And if you're new to your self love journey and you just need the basics, I have 3 books that you can get right now. It's not a long read. It's just gonna help you, build that foundation moving forward. Loving me, the self love toolbox, and how I overcame my addiction to alcohol. It's all on Amazon. Y'all go get it. It's no more than $5.99 for any of them. So
Okay.
y'all rise up and invest into you, invest into your mind, so that you can get where you need to be in life. And I thank y'all for watching. I thank y'all for tuning in. And until next time, we're gonna be back in a couple of weeks with the self love journey conversations with that girl Shei Atkins. Thank you, Miss Ialana. That was a beautiful testimony, a
Thank
beautiful
you.
story.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for sharing it with us. And we'll talk to y'all for next time.
Yes,
God bless.
ma'am.